Good morning, everyone. All right, so this is a vulnerable post for me to talk about me. Um, but something that I'm learning that's super duper important in life is that vulnerability is actually the thing that connects us to each other. And it is the thing that prevents us from feeling lonely. It is the thing that fills our hearts with joy and makes us have a lot of purpose. So I'm going to give you a not very well thought out thought of something that happened with me recently. I'm going to share really vulnerably what happened for me personally. So here's an example of when vulnerability totally sucks, but it also is ridiculously connecting. So we all have wounds. I have wounds, you have wounds, my boyfriend has wounds, everybody in the world has wounds. And a lot of times in relationships, we don't take the opportunity to share our wounds with, well, even with ourselves, really, but definitely not with others. We actually spend an immense amount of our time trying to protect ourselves from feeling our wounds or from other people seeing our wounds. And so the life that I'm committed to creating for me recently has been one of complete authenticity and complete vulnerability. It's really fucking scary and it's really hard to do because it's new. But the cool part is that probably like 90% of the time I have profound joy that I have not had in my life before. There's something really, really amazing about allowing yourself to be seen, allowing myself to be seen. There's a very deep, satisfactory feeling in that. So I want to share with you an example of something that came up, and I was talking with a client this morning about it. So when you're in relationship with someone and you're hurt, so I'll give you an example between Mike and I so that this can stay really real and easy to follow. So you might be the person who got hurt, which would be Mike, or you might be the person who hurt someone, which would be me in this example. And so we all have wounds, right? And so Mike has an abandonment wound. I actually have an abandonment wound also, but his abandonment wound was active in this example. So we're doing something, and my personality is to be 100% focused attention on whoever or whatever is in front of me at the time. It could be my work, it could be you, it could be this Facebook post, it could be my cat, it could be my kid, it could be the sunset, but I have a really hard time having like omnipresence, seeing more than one thing at a time. I get super duper focused. So when I'm in relationship with a person over here who has abandonment wounds, my super hyper focus can feel for that person like abandonment. So here's the deal. So he feels abandonment, and because he's very vulnerable as well and willing to share his feelings, and he's on a very similar journey that I'm on, which is, I'm committed to feeling my feelings and being vulnerable and being open all the time. He shares with me that he feels, left out, or he feels abandoned in that moment, for instance. And so later he communicates to me that he feels abandoned, and I get to be open to receiving that information. So traditionally, when someone feels hurt and they express their hurt, we don't generally do that in our culture. We usually say like, okay, I'm hurt, but I'm not going to tell you that I'm hurt. I'm just going to operate on top of my hurt. I'm going to pretend like I don't hurt, and I'm just going to keep doing things from up here in my head and try to make things work because that's what I was taught in my childhood. But instead, he came down in his heart and he said, hey, I was hurt. And so I had the opportunity then to either respond the way that we usually respond in our culture, which is up here and like, well, I don't want to feel your hurt, and I'm going to defend myself, and I'm going to tell you that you're bad and wrong. Or I could come into my heart and go like, oh man, the person that I really, really love, I hurt. And I don't want to hurt the person that I really, really love. And when I allow myself to feel that, like there's literally a physical sensation in my chest of pain to know that something that I did hurt the person that I love. And when I allow myself to feel that pain, the person that I love, the person who was the one who originally felt hurt, looks at me with their open heart and says, "Oh my gosh, you see me. You get me. I matter to you. It hurts you that you hurt me." And when he has that realization that I feel terrible, that I hurt him, immediately that's when forgiveness happens. And then really all that happens, nobody has to change anything. Nobody did anything bad or wrong. I don't have to, in the past, I would keep this like list of things that I needed to do to be good girl, which I learned in my childhood. So, okay, when we go out in public, I need to make sure that he feels loved and blah, blah, blah. That's actually not true. That's not my job. That's his abandonment wound, and that's his feelings, and that's his to manage. And he gets to either share with me or do something in the moment to make himself feel more loved and more comfortable. It's actually not my job at all. My job is to stay open and connected and be me, which is the person that he loves. But traditionally, I would be like, okay, I have to keep a list of all the things that I need to do to be right, to be good, so that he'll love me and he'll stay. But actually, that's not true, and it's not authentic. And I'm trying to be somebody that I'm not to make somebody else happy, and that actually just ends up feeling exhausting and making me miserable. If you are relating to me right now, like, I would love some little hearts or some thumbs up or something, because I know that we all do this. And I know that we all struggle with vulnerability, and I know that we all struggle with allowing ourselves to feel the pain when we hurt someone else. And the crazy part is, I'm just being me, and I caused someone else pain just by being me. And if I allow myself to have that looking good conversation be the most important thing, or if I say that my abandonment is the most important thing and I need him to love me being the most important thing, I will actually give up my authentic self. I will give up who I am to try to make somebody else happy, and that is just a recipe for disaster. So the answer is connection. The answer is self-love. The answer is keep your heart open, be vulnerable. The answer is don't be afraid to hurt, because you're not going to die. Like, sometimes I think that if I actually feel that pain in my chest, that I'm going to die, but it's not true. We're not going to die from feeling. We're not going to die from acknowledging that we hurt someone. We're not going to die from acknowledging that we love somebody enough that it hurts when we hurt them. And we get to let each other, I get to let you see me. I get to let him see me. I get to see him. We get to stay connected. And even though what I'm talking about might be the stupidest thing in the world, or it might seem really, really vulnerable for me, or I might be embarrassed to admit that this is who I am, because I'm supposed to be this life coach who's got it all together, right? I'm in a process of learning too. I'm human. I'm human too. And I'm learning to be gentle with myself, and I'm learning that I don't know everything, and it's okay to be wrong, and it's okay to share. It's okay to be vulnerable with you guys. It's okay to let you see me, even though I may feel embarrassed that I don't have all the right answers. And so when I do that, I actually connect with you and I let you love me. I let you see me. So I hope this is serving you. And I know it's been a really profound lesson for me to learn to stay open and to learn to allow myself to feel that pain, and that I didn't do anything bad or wrong. There's nothing wrong with me. I am who I am. My boyfriend is a perfect imago match. So that means that just who I am is going to trigger the hell out of him every once in a while. And part of the healing is just allowing him to express himself and be heard, and be there with him and let him know that I care about him and I love him and it hurts me to hurt him, and that I get to be me also. So I hope this is helping you guys. I hope this really serves somebody. These are my thoughts today about vulnerability. And I think vulnerability sucks because it's actually painful. It's almost like going to the gym and doing a lot of reps and like throwing up, at the end of the day, you're bigger, stronger, faster, more confident, you feel better in your body, but you had to go through the pain of exercising those muscles to get bigger and faster and stronger. And vulnerability is the same kind of idea. I get to feel the pain in order to have a joyful, loving, connected, intimate, open-hearted life. So here's to all of that. Here's to open-hearted, vulnerable living. I love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for seeing me. And I would love for you to share. You can share in the comments. If you would love to be part of this with me, I would love for you to post a video in this group, something vulnerable that you've learned, and let us see you and let us get to know who you really are, and put the shame aside and just let us see you. So if you're brave and you're courageous, the word courageous has the word cœur, which is a French word for heart. If your heart is open enough, if you're open-hearted enough, if you're courageous enough to let us see you, post a video and let us get to know you also. All right, you guys have an awesome day. Next time, we'll be talking more about vulnerability and self-love.